Thank you so much for joining us here at 6 a.m. Hope you had a nice weekend. It was a hot one out there.
Yeah.
So glad you're with us. I'm Eric Connor.
And I'm Netta Iranpour. My kids and I were kind of joking about it, but I'm like, don't fly away. The wind was wild.
My goodness.
We were in Carmel Valley area and it was intense.
I wasn't too far from you, and we were out there enjoying the beach with tens of thousands of other people. And you're right, I had to leave.
Sand is like
my umbrella was blowing over. I'm like, we're out of here.
We were the hottest spot in the country. Laguna Beach was yesterday. We in San Diego broke some records as well. Chula Vista got all the way to 91 degrees yesterday afternoon as offshore winds really picked up and allowed for a big warm up. That was all thanks to a low pressure system to the south of us. That low is now moving closer and closer, and with it we're going to watch for some scattered showers to start off the day. We've already seen them mainly from San Diego down south through the international border as that low pressure system is to the south of us. It even has brought some scattered thunderstorms south of the border. So watch for that wet weather this morning, and then by the afternoon we'll transition to partly cloudy skies. A big cool down from yesterday. Instead of the 80s and 90s, we'll be looking at 60s and 70s. Back in the forecast coming up, we'll talk about whether or not we see any return to those warmer temperatures and clearer skies anytime soon. Back to you.
This morning, a 7th U.S. service member has now died from injuries sustained in an Iranian attack on troops stationed in Saudi Arabia.
Over the weekend, Israel launched new attacks on Tehran's critical oil infrastructure. Take a look at this video right here. Yeah, Iran is warning residents to take precautions against toxic smoke and acid rain. Wow. Meantime, Iran has officially selected the son of the late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei as the country's new supreme leader. President Trump says he is not happy with this choice. According to Fox News, he also says there's no end in sight without Iran's unconditional surrender.
Looking to settle. They'd like to settle. We're not looking to settle.
Sources now tell CBS News the U.S. may have been responsible for the bombing of a girls' school in Iran that killed more than 160 people, many of them children. And overnight, due to this war, gas prices went up even more.
Yeah, they have been climbing since the start of the U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran. News 8's Tori Apodaca, live in Kearney Mesa, working for you here to find out why California is being hit especially hard here, Tori.
Good morning. These prices definitely not what anyone wants to be waking up to. We're now looking at record levels here in San Diego, the average over $5 a gallon, including at this Chevron. You're looking at the lowest price at $5.49 a gallon. But go ahead and take a look at what it was like exactly a week ago here in San Diego. We were sitting at around $4.70 per gallon compared to now today, $5.23 per gallon. So why is it climbing and when is it going to stop? It has to do with the Iran war, which has driven the price of crude oil above $100 a barrel for the first time since 2022. And California already has the highest gas tax in the nation and requires a cleaner, more expensive fuel blend. That and 2 major refineries were shut down here due to high operating costs. It's why petroleum analysts say Californians are feeling the pain at the pump even more than the rest of the country.
A unique market that is essentially cut off from the rest of the country.
I'm paying $40, but that doesn't get me a full tank anymore.
Now, the U.S.-Israeli conflict is strangling the flow of tankers through the critical waterway through which about a fifth of the world's oil flows. On social media, President Trump dismissed the spike, saying prices will drop when, quote, the destruction of Iran's nuclear threat is over. And as we're paying upwards of $5 per gallon here in California, the rest of the country is sitting at around $3.45 per gallon, which is up 50 cents from where it was a week ago. In Kearney Mesa, Tori Apodaca, News 8.
This morning, one gas station in Los Angeles charging over $8 for 1 gallon of gas. Take a look. It was $8.21 over the weekend. Yeah, right there on that sign. You see it at this Chevron in downtown L.A. The average price in L.A. County today is $5.25. We are working for you. We want to help you find the cheapest gas prices around San Diego County. So here's what you can do. Text the word gas to the number on your screen, 858-571-8888. We'll send a link to you with a map of the lowest prices.
An El Cajon-based Chaldean Catholic bishop accused of embezzlement is expected to make his first court appearance today. The sheriff's office says Bishop Emmanuel Shaletta was arrested Thursday at the San Diego International Airport while allegedly trying to leave the country. Investigators say the case started last August after St. Peter Chaldean Church reported possible embezzlement. Prosecutors say Shaletta stole hundreds of thousands of dollars. He now faces multiple felony charges. In a statement, St. Peter's leaders say they stand in solidarity with the bishop and ask members to keep the eparchy in their prayers. A major political shakeup in San Diego County.
After more than 2 decades in Congress, Republican Darrell Issa says he will not be seeking re-election. News 8's Chris Groh live outside of the county administration building to explain who could potentially replace Issa. Chris.
Yeah, good morning. It was a flurry of moves that we saw take place just before the weekend. Of course, we heard that Congressman Darrell Issa would not be seeking re-election, would go ahead and retire. But then we also heard from County Supervisor Jim Desmond announcing he would run as a Republican in the race for the 48th. And then we saw Issa's endorsement of Desmond. And all of this, of course, happening here just before the weekend. Now, as for what we heard from Issa, he did say in a statement, in part, quote, "After a quarter century in Congress and before that a quarter century in business, it is the right time for a new chapter and new challenges." Now, the 48th district was impacted by new redistricting under Prop 50, and it now includes more registered Democrats. In fact, we have 2 Democrats here in the race. That includes City Council member Marnie Von Wilpert and Amar Campa-Najjar, someone who has run for office multiple times, including against Issa at one point. Now, we did speak with Vista Mayor John Franklin about his good friend Issa retiring, as well as Desmond stepping up. But here's Franklin's thoughts on the impact of Prop 50, in particular, again, as someone who is mayor of a city in the 48th district that was impacted by the map.
50 was designed to create an unlevel playing field, and it generally did. It made this race, made the 49th district here in San Diego also much more difficult, much less competitive.
Now, we did hear from the 2 Democratic candidates in response to Issa retiring, Desmond stepping in. Marnie Von Wilpert said in a statement, in part, quote, "Swapping one MAGA loyalist for another doesn't change a thing, and Jim Desmond is as MAGA as it gets." And Campa-Najjar said in an interview with News 8 that whoever the MAGA Republican is, quote, that Campa-Najjar says that he is going to make the case to lower costs, raise wages, and make health care affordable and hold the Trump administration accountable. You can read more about the changes in this race by going to CBS8.com and clicking on that story link. Back to you guys.
Well, the winds roared across the county over the weekend, upping the fire danger. In fact, the brush fire started just before noon yesterday in a canyon in the Birdland neighborhood. Flames threatened homes and transmission lines, but the fire grew to about 2 acres before the firefighters stopped it. No injuries reported here. The cause is under investigation.
Nearby, the winds were so strong they uprooted this large tree. It slammed into a home. The homeowner, who has lived there 50 years, tells News 8 she has never seen winds like this in her neighborhood. So, wow, I mean, that is a massive tree. You see it just snapped right there. And I was worried about that with the dry winds, of course. The second a little spark, it could send, obviously fire running. So
I mean,
I'm glad that did not happen.
There were things blowing around at the beaches, umbrellas, chairs, you name it. And I saw people just start to pack up and go after a while.
Yeah, it's too uncomfortable.
Sand in the face. Tasting sand is not a good
smacked
feeling.
Around.
Yeah, those Santa Anas definitely contributed to why those temperatures were so hot. When that wind comes out of the east, it's that warm, dry air coming from over the mountains and deserts that travels toward the coast and inland. And that's why our coast yesterday got all the way to the low 90s in some cases, especially down toward the South Bay. From the low 90s, we're looking at 60s this afternoon, about a 25-degree drop in temperatures, 67 out by the water, 70 inland as a big surge in onshore flow now resumes. That's cool, moist air from over the ocean pushing onto the coast. It also is coming along with some scattered shower activity with that low pressure system. So our best chance for rain, it's today, and then it sinks down for Tuesday and Wednesday. In particular, by the end of the week, we are back to a 0% chance for rain, and that's going to be because another ridge of high pressure will start to build, helping to give us much warmer temperatures as we go toward Thursday and Friday. Take a live look outside. This is Mount San Miguel. Now that that time change has occurred, we've got the sunrise at 7:06. That means that we won't start to see any of that twilight light coming through until about 6:30 or so. and that's when we'll start to notice those pink and orange hues, hopefully, depending on how cloud cover is situated. Sunset coming at 6:52. Closer to a 7 p.m. sunset, and we'll get it even more as we get into the time frame for the spring equinox. Afternoon highs in the 60s and 70s out there. Escondido 71 degrees. Low pressure, that's the one contributing to the wet weather right now, moves off to the east. A ridge of high pressure starts to build, and it'll give us a big warm up in temperatures between today and the end of the week. Let's take a look at traffic. Right now, drive times outside are not too bad. On the 805 northbound and the 5 northbound, both spots from the South Bay toward downtown are looking pretty smooth. Coronado Bridge is slow because there are a lot of people trying to get onto base. You're down to 11 miles per hour from downtown into Coronado. It's going to take you about 13 minutes to get across the bridge. Let's take a look at your border wait times now, where it's a 90-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry. Otay Mesa Port of Entry going to take you about 90 minutes as well.